148th Fighter Wing might get a big boost from the state.
CFL Senator Grant Hauschild announced $3 million for the base as part of a broader Senate capital investment bill.
In Northern News Now's Haley Asanovich explains what the 148th will do with that money if the bill passes as is.
If you go and tour the 148th, the colonels will show you the dilapidated hangars that are there on the base.
Senator Grant Hauschild revealed more details Sunday about his proposed $25 million Senate capital investment bill. The 148th would get $3 million of that. Hauschild says the funding would assist in the construction of new hangars on base.
And it's far past time that we secure the funding that we need to make sure the long-term viability of the 148th.
Along with legislation from the Capitol, the Duluth Chamber of Commerce has stepped up over the past 4 years to support the hangar renewal efforts. Dan Fanning, vice president of the Chamber and Army veteran, said one of the reasons he took on this position is to advocate for military projects such as this.
You can't say enough about the work that the men and women of the 140th have done. That's the military side. And then on the economic and business side as a chamber, they have over $100 million in economic impact every single year in our community.
Fanning says the 148th has been serving the community for decades, and it goes well beyond the borders of Duluth to the regional level, something Senator Hauschild hopes will help his pitch receive bipartisan support.
The bonding bill is the only bill in the state capitol that requires a supermajority of votes. And so having bipartisan support for a bonding bill is so critical this year.
In Duluth, Haley Asanovich, Northern News Now.
Senator Hauschild said this money would be an initial step towards long-term goals for the 148th.